Hey everybody, how's it going? It is game day, Knicks versus Spurs at 1 o'clock in MSG. Thank you to everybody that's joining in right now on the channel. This is a live recording. We will post this up off there. Knicks versus Spurs today. The Spurs coming into today's game with a really good record. Let me just double check their record. The Spurs are 43-16. The Knicks, I believe, are 38-22. The Knicks have played the Spurs 2 times this season. They, of course, won the NBA Cup 124-113. That game featured a close game in the first half. The Knicks left the half, I think, about down 4 points or so. And then they erupted at the end of the third quarter after getting down. It was Jordan Clarkson and Tyler Kolek who kind of kept the Knicks in the game. And then Clarkson hit some big threes, gave the Knicks the lead. And then it was actually Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart being benched for Tyler Kolek and Jordan Clarkson. OG Anunoby had a really good game. And if you're hearing those words, you're hearing those names, and they kind of match up, they do match up with Jalen Brunson's post-game speech where he talked about who deserved the real credit. And to be honest, Brunson did not have a great game against the Spurs in that NBA Cup game. It was the others. It was Hart. It was at the end of the game. It was Kolek. It was Clarkson. It was Mitchell Robinson playing really good defense on Wembanyama at the end. And then it looked like, and these two matchups kind of tell like two different stories about the Knicks season. After that NBA Cup matchup, we were sky high as a fan base. The Knicks looked like a team that was a team of destiny in terms of where they are in the league. Kind of, putting themselves in that upper echelon. And then, the Knicks win a couple more games. They beat the Cavaliers on Christmas. They beat the Hawks. They beat the Pelicans. Josh Hart gets hurt. They go on the road. They play the Spurs again. They go up 17 in the first half, and they look like an unstoppable force. And Wembanyama erupts in the end of the half. He leaves the third quarter of that second game on New Year's Eve, and the Spurs lead a comeback. Julian Champagnie hits 9 threes, I believe, and the Spurs win that game, even with Wembanyama going to the bench. So technically speaking, the Spurs are 1-0 against us on the season, but for the games we actually watch, we're 1-1. And it's going to lead me to my prediction of this game and where I think it counts in terms of micro, kind of like looking at the regular season and trying to project regular season challenges onto the playoffs. The Knicks are now tied 1-1, and this is the deciding game. And I think that is the narrative going into this game. Beyond the fact that the Knicks are fighting for a standing position, both teams are. The Spurs are looking to try to take that number 1 seed away from the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just got SGA back. So it'll be an interesting stretch, for those two teams in the Western Conference. But I wanted to speak about the matchups in today's game. They're going to be very interesting. I look back at the videos of both matchups, and I'm projecting what the starting lineups will be. They obviously could change, probably will not. But in the last matchup, Harrison Barnes got the start, and I believe Devin Vassell was not available. So it's going to be interesting to see now that Vassell is in the starting lineup in this matchup, how that kind of changes things. I don't expect it to. I expect these to be the matchups, and this is how it's going to go. For us on defense, Brunson's going to guard Champagnie, and Brunson has to stay connected to Champagnie. He doesn't have to treat him like Ray Allen, but if he hits, a 3 or so, get in his space, go over screens, make sure you identify him as a shooter. Mikal Bridges is going to be guarding De'Aaron Fox, and he is going to basically have the job of keeping Fox out of the perimeter, keeping him as a three-point shooter. He does shoot about 5 threes a game. He's one of their quote-unquote better three-point shooters. The Spurs are not a great three-point shooting team, and that is their weakness, and that is something that we got to make sure, like once, and I'll speak about that in keys to the game, once we get through the game and understanding who's hot, we got to do a good job of limiting those guys' shots. Hart will guard Steven Castle. OG will guard Wemby, most likely to start. and Cat will guard Devin Vassell. And then for us on offense, this is where it gets interesting. Castle's going to pick up on Brunson full court. Castle's going to play in Brunson's face guard him around the court, and he is going to be a pest for Jalen Brunson. De'Aaron Fox is going to guard Mikal Bridges. He also probably will press Mikal if he brings the ball up. A soft press, but I think Mikal can dribble up the court with Fox on him. Wemby is going to, if you're listening on Spotify, air quotes guard Josh Hart. This is going to be the most deliberate double penalty of having Josh Hart in the starting lineup of all time. Number one, you have a non-shooter in Josh Hart. Everyone guards Josh Hart at this point with a center, and everyone uses their center to camp out in the paint. Now, the Spurs are going to have the best rim protector in the world camp out in the paint and not guard Josh Hart. So that is going to influence our drives. It's going to influence our offense. We're going to see what Mike Brown has planned. Last game, it seemed like the Knicks were basically telling, the Bucks, you're going to leave Josh Hart open. Josh Hart's going to shoot. We'll see if they're willing to do that against the Spurs today. There's multiple things that they've done since the second half of the All-Star break started. Against the Detroit Pistons, I looked at the film, and one of the things that they're doing, and I don't think they'll do it today, but they did it against the Bucks a little bit. They did it against the Pistons. They did it against the Rockets as well. One of the things that they're doing is, instead of spacing out Hart on the top of the action, what they're doing is they're putting him in the short corner, and they're bringing Karl-Anthony Towns up, and Cat is getting the ball up on the perimeter, and Hart is legitimately playing like a center. He's playing in that short corner, basically saying if you're going to camp out in the lane, Josh will be there for that little, drop pass or something like that, little slip pass underneath the rim, or just at least like keeping everybody, honest of where guys are. I don't think they'll do that because Josh cannot catch a pass and rise and fire over Wembanyama in the paint. So they're going to have to get creative, and they're going to have to pivot quick if Hart is not hitting his threes. I do think that, they're going to dare him to shoot early. And if Josh can hit his threes, it'll help. It'll help us tremendously. If not, it's going to be a quick pivot to Shamet. I really do believe that. This is not a game that it's going to feature double bigs unless they play Cornet with Wembanyama, which I don't think that they do an awful lot of. Keeping up with the matchups, Vassell is going to guard Cat, and Champagnie is going to guard OG. And if the Knicks cannot win these three matchups, and if they don't look to exploit it, they didn't have a real game plan. They got to exploit these three matchups. Mikal on De'Aaron Fox, that has to be an automatic. Running through screening games, get Mikal going downhill. Wembanyama is going to be there. Stop, pop, hit your midi. Okay? That's very simple. OG with Champagnie on him, same situation. Rip through, catch, shoot, rip through, drive, attack, go up strong, pull up in the mid-range. It'll be very interesting to see who's confident in their mid-range game, who's confident in attacking the rim. And Karl-Anthony Towns has to attack the rim today, has to be efficient, has to get the ball on Vassell and attack him and fight through contact, be patient, and hit his shots close to the rim. Excuse me, I'm just a little bit under the weather here. So those are some of the matchups. For us on defense, and first of all, I just want to thank you guys for watching the channel. We got 65 people here on the live. If you're watching on the replay, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment in the comment section, and definitely like the video, share it out to your friends. We appreciate you here at Your Knicks. This is going to be a 365-day project for you, evolving, making sure that we get you guys the best content we can get. As you can see, got the new banner behind me, the flag. Got some Velcro from Home Depot, hung this guy up, and we'll be able to get more improvements to the channel as we go along. If you want to donate to the channel, right here is my Cash App in the corner. All right, so the defense. Here's Here are the keys to the defense. We got to put multiple bodies on Wemby. Here's going to be a couple looks we're going to give at him. We're going to give him the small with the rim protector behind him. I think Hart and Mitch will probably do that. To start out, it's going to be OG. But when we sub in and do our rotations, you put Hart on him, and then you put your rim protector behind Hart. So basically daring Wemby to shoot out of the mid-range. You can live with that. You can live with that. You put Hart on him at the nail. You put Hart on him at the elbow, on the wing, and you basically dare Wemby to shoot mid-range shots. If he drives, you have a rim protector to help out. Okay? Then you have OG to start. Then you have Cat that can guard Wemby a little bit. I don't love it because I don't want Cat to get in foul trouble. And then you have your best matchup, which could be your worst. We'll see. Like it seems to be hot and cold with Mitch sometimes with these matchups, but when it's going well, it's really well. It's really good. Mitch on Wemby. That has to be a positive for us today if we want any chance of winning. And it's on Mike Brown to ride the hot hand, especially when it comes to defending Wembanyama. Wembanyama's minutes have gone up over the course of his career. Cornette has kind of like faded to the back of the rotation a little bit. I've seen some fluctuated minutes with him. They kind of like put Wemby in, Cornette in, both of them taking Cornette out. We'll see what they choose to do against the Knicks today. With the Knicks having multiple bigs, the Knicks could throw a double big lineup out there as well. But they gotta, on defense, throw multiple bodies on Wemby. Don't let him get comfortable. Number 2, identify the hot hand. Learn your lesson from the last game. Do not let multiple guys get easy shots. Like I'm looking at Champagnie, Harrison Barnes, and Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox. Those 4 guys are the three-point shooters. Do not let these guys get hot. If one of them hits a shot, make sure a hand's in his face. Make sure he has to put the ball on the floor. Please. Like last game, we learned our lesson, hopefully. Do not let Julian Champagnie or anybody, if they hit 2 threes in a row, make them put the ball on the floor. It really should be 1. But definitely identify the hot hand. And then here's my final key to the game on defense is keeping Keldon Johnson off the boards, loose balls, limit his energy plays. Keldon Johnson is their Josh Hart. He's not much of an offensive player. He's kind of like in that, he's shooting well from three-point range, but with good reason because they're pretty much leaving him wide open. But he had big plays at the end of that game on New Year's Eve, and we were without Josh Hart. I need Josh Hart to match Keldon Johnson's energy. I need Keldon Johnson to be kept off the offensive glass. He averages 1.7 offensive rebounds a game, which is a decent amount. And he averages, I think, 5.6 rebounds total. So he's one of their better rebounders. We got to make sure that he doesn't win those 50-50 balls. On offense, like I said, we got to win our lopsided matchups. They're going to throw wings on Brunson. They're going to put Champagnie on him, Castle, Harper, Barnes, Vassell, Wemby. They're going to put the whole world on Jalen Brunson. That leaves Cat and OG and McHale, specifically those 3, should be able to win their matchups. They should be able to dominate. The Spurs have been trying to go smaller as of late. Again, it'll be interesting to see if they employ the double big today. But their next tallest guy is Harrison Barnes. Champagnie plays the quote-unquote power forward for them. The other guys are their wings. They have jumbo guards, but they do not have a traditional 4 if they go with Wemby at the 5. So we're going to have to dominate those matchups, through the middle of our lineup. Do not make Brunson carry you through this game. I know a lot of people are like, Brunson showed you why he should be the alpha. Give Brunson the ball at all costs. Dude, it's not going to work today. That is not going to work today. It didn't work in the first game. It didn't work in the second game. It's not going to work today. You have to get a healthy spread of offense because that's where the matchups lie. And then also on offense, you got to have multiple ball handlers. You got to have multiple ball handlers today. They're going to face guard Brunson. They're going to pressure him up 94 feet of the floor, preserve his energy, get McHale bringing the ball up. I want to see McHale put De'Aaron Fox through some actions in the pick and roll. I want to see us get Alvarado the ball with Brunson potentially on the floor. I don't think they're going to go to that lineup. It was a little tweak with Mike Brown from the last game. He's been putting Alvarado in with like the 2 or 3 minute mark of the first quarter with Brunson. Last game, he just put Alvarado in the game for Brunson as a replacement. Do not think they're going to play small ball with Brunson and Alvarado today, but it just, they need multiple ball handlers. Alvarado is going to be a part of that. Josh Hart is going to be a part of that. OG Anunoby is going to be a part of that. Other guys need to create offense with the ball in their hands today and let Brunson get off ball so he can do those types of things. I think Shamet, if you've been paying attention, he comes into the game. He's their de facto point guard when he comes into the game with Brunson. And then they like to get, actions with Brunson running off ball. He crossed up, I think he crossed up Ryan Rollins the other day with Mitchell Robinson, having the basketball and finding Brunson in the corner. So narratives aside, I mean, it's not a narrative. It's what we do. I don't know if people are aware of that, but that is what we do. When Shamet and Mitch and Diawara come in the game, Shamet controls the point. Brunson goes off ball. They seem to be comfortable with that. So that is going to be something that we're going to need to do. And then again, reacting to those actions. If we cannot get Brunson the ball, somebody else has to make a move. Okay? Somebody else has to make a move. Getting Wemby away from the rim. Mid-range efficiency. This also counts for Luke Cornett. Getting these guys away from the rim, if you can, putting them in actions. And I want to shout out the guy who said it for me. I want to give him some love on Twitter. This is, I want to shout him out. His name is ANE Shot 2000. Unknown 7 is his profile. Looks like a younger kid. He mentioned this, and I wanted to shout him out because I put it in my notes after he said that. Yeah, getting Wemby away from the rim is a big little chess piece that they can do. Putting him in actions, making him guard at the level, and opening up back screens and things like that. It'll be interesting to see if Wembanyama steps out and guards Karl-Anthony Towns at some points of this game, especially when Hart goes to the bench. It'll be interesting to see, if Wembanyama guards Diawara when he's in the game, or if the Knicks try to get 5 shooters on the floor and make Wembanyama have to guard. It's going to be very interesting how they try to do this. But early on, if we are basically playing 4-on-5, we got to scrap that quick. Team goals. We got to limit turnovers. It's very simple. But it's the simple things that'll help you win or help you lose the game today. Got to limit turnovers. Cannot allow the Spurs to get the ball out in transition with Fox, Castle, Harper, and company, and let them attack you and get easy buckets. Cannot let that happen. Along the lines of the same ethic, win 50-50 balls. I already spoke about Keldon Johnson. He's their energy guy. They got other guys that win 50-50 balls. Remember the play at the end of the game with Karl-Anthony Towns not getting that rebound over Luke Cornett? That is how we lost that game. That is one of the reasons why we lost that game. So winning 50-50 balls is going to be huge for us, getting, rebounds, closing out defensive possessions when we're scrambling. And then also my last one on the team goals is win the non-Wemby minutes. I don't know how many minutes Wemby's going to play. I saw him playing 38 minutes in a game previous. That's pretty high for a kid of his development. But we got to make sure we win those minutes. They're going to be trying to do the same when Jalen goes to the bench for us. We got to make sure that when Wemby goes to the bench, kick it up in your head. I know it's Luke Cornett. I know he's a rim protector as well, but go attack. We didn't do that when Wemby went to the bench in New Year's Eve, and Wemby got hurt, and we were up by 10. We didn't win those minutes, and we kind of like did the chicken with our head cut off dance, driving, spraying, pump fake, driving, spraying, nobody pulling up from the mid-range, nobody being confident. We're going to need confident scorers. And I think it'll help the fact that we're at home. And that leads me to my prediction. And I think that, going into this game, like I said, you try to build challenges in the regular season that are representative of the playoffs. These are not playoff games, but if you could build playoff intensity in them, you can learn things about yourself, about your personnel, who you are, and what you're able to do, and give yourself confidence for a situation that is real. It's like before you go on your driver's test, you practice driving. Okay. It's like, it's not the real thing. It's you're driving with somebody in the car, right? But eventually you're going to have to do it by yourself. So practice kind of makes perfect. So that's what this kind of game represents to me, beyond the standings and all those kinds of things. This is a game where the Knicks have won one, they've lost one. Here's the game, the series deciding game. And it teaches you the ethic of defending home court. You played on the road twice. You played in Las Vegas. It had, a mixed crowd. It wasn't really like a Knicks crowd or a Spurs crowd. It was an NBA bystander crowd. And then you played in San Antonio and you lost in San Antonio. Now the series is tied 1-1. You have to defend home court. We have to do better at this against good opponents. And I think ultimately, I think that the Knicks will get the contributions from their secondary players. I think they did turn the corner a little bit in Milwaukee in terms of their shooting efficiency, their confidence, their team morale kind of looked like it went up in Milwaukee. It was a quintessential, you face another team's fifth starter, and now all of a sudden you start getting hot. You start, feeling like your swing is back. And I think that's pretty much the confidence that the Knicks are bringing into today's game. And I think that the Knicks win it. I think it'll be close. I think that the Knicks will have to lean on Karl Anthony Towns. I think the Knicks will have to lean on OG Anunoby. I think the Knicks will have to get contributions from their bench, whether it be Shamet, whether it be Mitchell Robinson. I think those two are the biggest pieces. Shamet for the spacing, Mitch for the 50-50 balls and the rebounds. And I think the Knicks win this in a one-possession game, 121-119. Let me know what you think about the matchups in today's game. What do you think are you most concerned about? Who are you most confident in? And again, let me know your predictions in the comment section. And again, we will be back here at 1:00 for the live stream. It doesn't look like anybody here in the live is in the comments. Let me just read the comments before I back out. Shout out to Bones. Bones says, salute to you, my brother, with 100 and a couple fireballs. Shout out to Bones. I was with Bones in the casino there in Fort Lauderdale area. And I think, what was it? The Astros played the Dodgers or the Rangers. The Astros played the Rangers, and I put some money on the Rangers to win after I lost $300 on blackjack, and I put some money on the Astros I put some money on the Rangers to beat the Astros, and the Rangers tied the game in with like 2 outs with the last batter. This is during my gambling addiction days, but Bones was there with me, and he saw me get my money back. But do not gamble, folks. Do not. It's a terrible habit. Banner looks good. Appreciate you, Cowboy. Appreciate you, man. It took some help from a couple of folks at Home Depot here in Bloomfield, New Jersey. East Orange, Bloomfield, New Jersey. And I got the right things. I got some Velcro. And thank you. I'm going to be putting up a TV on the opposite side of this wall. And this will be my office. But for the live stream, you're going to see me in my living room. So that's that. This is from Green Eye 4XN. He says, my expectations for the Knicks is non-existent unless expecting them to exit first round counts. This team is not a team. It's a message that delivers better on a loss than on a win. Win good, loss bad. By the way, those T-shirts are coming soon. The win good, loss bad T-shirts are coming soon. I agree that they're not as together as they should be for a team that is considered a championship contender. But those things can be found. They got to find it now. They got to find some type of thing that they can lean on throughout the season and things that they can, carry into the postseason. But they do have a little bit of punch them in the mouth and they wilt away to them more than they have the resolve kind of thing going on. So I agree. They sometimes play Cornette at the 4. We'll see. Thank you, Blair. We'll see if they do that. I think I saw a game against Toronto. Toronto doesn't have a lot of bigs. I think Cornette played 7 minutes in that game, so that doesn't surprise me. So that'll do it with the comments. Check out the rest of my videos. If you haven't seen my recap of the Bucks win, you can go back and check that out. And remember, this is your Knicks.